This is your host, Aisha, and with me, I have Nilofer Basaria. She is our health and wellness coach, and today we have brought a very interesting topic, and that is about nutrition, gut, and mental health. How are you?
I'm doing well, Aisha. How are you?
I am doing very well as well. And what an interesting combination this is. What an interesting link between this that you have anxiety, low mood, brain fog, or constant stress. These are not just emotional issues, but biological signals.
They are. They are as much physical as they are mental. Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely. So I will give our introduction. As you know, Dr. Nilofer Basaria is a health and wellness coach, and you can follow her on her Instagram handle. It's Dr. Basaria, Drbasaria, and you have a new Facebook group as well.
Yes, it is called Beyond Weight Loss Root Cause Healing for Women. So I would ask all your listeners to join that group. It's
Mhm.
a private group. It's a free group, and it will give you a lot of training and tools that I am putting in there to guide you to work on your physical health as well as your mental and emotional health.
Okay.
So, an exciting resource that I'm putting out there, and it's just being formed. So, as you get in quickly, you will get the entire spiel.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that. I have joined. And you also are offering a 5-day challenge. What is that all about?
Yes. So there are women who contact me, and I see a lot of physical issues and mental, emotional health issues.
Mhm.
And so, if you have something that's going on and you want to get some guidance and sift through all the complexity, and want to understand what are my first few steps that I can take toward my better physical or mental health, contact me. These 5 sessions are free to you. It is
What?
my service to the community.
Okay.
And of course, as I am associated with Radio Azad is all about this. So I discussed this with Aisha, and it is open to Radio Azad community. You can contact me through my Insta, or you can email at info@drbasaria, that is basaria.com,
Mhm.
and we can set up some time and I can provide you some help in that regard so that you can get started.
All right. Take advantage of it. Nobody gives anything for free. So she's offering you free 5 free sessions. Just do it. It's the best life changing decision that you will ever make. Nilofer, this topic actually, I think, can really help a lot of different people who are struggling right now. And we've done shows on emotional eating and everything. But can you help sort of explain that connection a little bit to us? What does it really mean when we say that the gut is our second brain? What does that mean?
Yeah. So, gut is not only there for digestion, right? That's how we know our gut. But gut is actually in constant communication with your brain. There's a constant talk that's going on between the gut and the brain. And there is this whole world of millions of nerve cells that we call as our enteric nervous system that sits in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
So these millions of nerve cells, okay, so they're constantly talking to the brain through your vagus nerve, through immune cells, through hormones, through gut bacteria, right? So this constant communication is going on. And 90% of our serotonin,
Mm-hmm.
which is our happiness hormone, our neurotransmitter, 90% of our serotonin is produced in our gut. Our
Wow.
gut bacteria produce the precursor for dopamine,
Mm-hmm.
which is our neurotransmitter for mood, motivation,
Mm-hmm.
right? GABA, which is a calming neurotransmitter, is being produced in the gut, right? So if the gut is inflamed, if it's not well, then you will have difficulty with your mood. You will have difficulty with emotional regulation, your stress resilience, your focus,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just know that mental health is not only psychological, it's also biochemical. It's
Mm.
literally what we eat, what's going on in our gut is how we feel in our brain. It's
So
so biochemical.
interesting. So they are connected through these neurotransmitters. And what about the vagus nerve?
So, vagus nerve, think of it as a an energy highway between the gut and the brain. This is like an information highway.
Okay.
Information is going from gut to the brain through vagus nerve. And so it takes signals both ways, from gut to the brain and the brain to the gut,
Mhm.
right? And most of it, 80% of this communication is happening from gut to the brain. So all these
Interesting.
signals are going on from gut to the brain constantly.
Mhm.
All right. So if, say, the gut is inflamed, if it's not healthy, then what is the signal that's going on? Stress. Stress
Mm.
signals are going on to the brain,
Mhm.
right? And if the gut is calm and if it's healthy, calming signals are going to the brain. So vagus nerve has a very important role to play. And again, the type of food that we eat, how healthy is our gut,
Mhm.
is all what going to determine how mentally and emotionally fit we feel as well.
Very, very interesting. I really like the way you've put it, that it's this information highway. And I did not know this, that it's 80% of it is one direction.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what happens when there's inflammation in the gut? Like, can that affect our mood, and can it lead to like anxiety and depression?
Yeah. So inflammation will not only impact your joints,
Mm-hmm.
right? We say, oh, my joints hurt because I have inflammation there. Or it will not only affect your digestion, it will definitely affect your mood and your mental health
Mm-hmm.
and your emotional resilience
Mm-hmm.
and your focus, right? Because what chronic inflammation does, it will impact all this biochemistry, right? That's going on in the gut,
Mm-hmm.
and it will stop that. So your serotonin production will get impacted, your dopamine production will get impacted, your stress hormones will get impacted, right?
Okay.
Stress hormones will go up because there's
Of
stress in the
course.
system.
Mm.
So inflammation, chronic inflammation, will definitely have a big impact on your mood, on your mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And what is causing inflammation in the gut? Your ultra processed foods.
Mm-hmm.
So understand what is ultra processed foods. When I talk about ultra processed food, anything that you cannot make in your own kitchen. So, for example, Doritos, it has
Okay.
to be made in a factory.
Yeah.
Your dairy milk chocolate, anything, like, think about, I'm just telling you one or two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can understand what I mean by that. Ultra processed food is anything that you can't make yourself, and it has to come out from a factory,
Mm-hmm.
from a fast food store,
So it's not natural, like it's not grown, it is produced
right?
and not in your
That
kitchen.
if you're consuming that off and on, by habit, cravings,
Mm.
because you feel like, because you want to suppress some stress, because you want to
You're
enjoy
bored.
life, because you want to feel good,
Mhm.
right? So you consume those things, right? And you're like, come on, I'm going to live life.
Mm.
But uh, just understand what it's doing. These ultra processed foods are definitely going to start inflammation in your gut. There is no question about that.
Mhm.
Okay. Sugar loaded foods,
Mm.
right? So that's going to start inflammation. And then on top of it, if this is going on just because you want to live life, right? And then on top of it, if you're not sleeping well,
Mm.
that is going to turn up the fire even more,
She's talking to me.
right? And I'm talking to all of us, right? So and so there are periods, Aisha, when there is a time when, yeah, it's like crunch time and we all stay up, or Sometimes, we have to work, or sometimes there's family, and that's
Mhm.
understandable. But I'm talking about a lifestyle.
Right.
Okay. So if the lifestyle is such that majority of our days we don't care about sleeping on time, or there's no sleep schedule, or so, then that will, over time,
Impact.
it's causing inflammation. And
Mhm.
this is just adding up, adding up, adding up, because
Mhm.
we are not conscious about it, and we are not taking conscious efforts, right? So sleep, your ultra processed foods, your sugar loaded foods, which is
Mhm.
normal way of living, and I
Mhm.
want to live life, and then on top of it I want to enjoy my TV and fun time, and I want to relax, and so,
Right.
or I want to be on social media, and that's interesting and I can't stop myself. This
Mhm.
is normal life that's happening with the majority of us,
Mhm.
right? So sleep will aggravate inflammation. And then stress. Anyone in this life that you know of, do you know that they don't have stress? Be the stress coming from
Yeah.
family, work, what have you,
Mhm.
right? So then stress will, so these are the
Major.
normal, natural things that will aggravate inflammation, and that
Mhm.
will impact your mental health for sure.
Interesting. So you talked about how processed foods will impact this. What about what nutrients are important for our brain health and emotional stability?
Absolutely. So, if you want to curb down inflammation in your body, hands down,
Mm.
omega 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very important. So, what are omega 3s? They're scientifically known to reduce inflammation in your body.
Okay.
So, your fatty fish, so
Mm-hmm.
your salmon,
Salmon,
your sardines, all
tuna.
right? Yeah, but you have to make sure that you are not adding a lot of mercury through tuna. But salmon and sardines are really good.
Mm-hmm.
Your nuts and seeds,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds.
Mm.
So just consciously have these things during the week, like few times. So omega 3s will definitely help.
Few times a day or few times a week?
Few times a week. So like a couple of times a week, like 2, 3 times if you're having fish. Nuts and seeds you can have every day,
Mm.
right? So those are the things that are omega 3s are going to definitely. Some people take a tablet of omega 3 too, if the source is right. I generally, with supplements, I say make sure that you're not taking a lot of fluff ingredients through
Mm-hmm.
supplements.
Mm-hmm.
But nutrient wise, omega 3s are very important. Then hands down, magnesium
Mm.
will help with inflammation because it
Okay.
calms your system down. Magnesium has this characteristic of calming your system down.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you take for magnesium, green leafies are good. Pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are very good source of
Mm-hmm.
magnesium.
Okay.
Dark chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
right? Almonds,
Yeah.
right? Spinach also, right? But it depends. Like when the inflammation is going on in your system, and it is coming from all the ultra processed food and sleep and stress, and that I talked about. Sometimes the normal foods, such as spinach or apple or strawberry or tomatoes, may act as inflammatory agents in your body.
Really?
So
Okay.
that's why it's very important that you completely properly heal your gut,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes good foods can act as an inflammatory agent.
Mm-hmm.
But absolutely, if you want to curb inflammation, first and foremost, get rid of those ultra processed foods, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then introduce these nutrients, the nutrient dense foods like omega 3s, magnesium. Then I would say B vitamins are very important for
Mm-hmm.
inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So again, your green leafies and your eggs and your lentils will
Mm-hmm.
give you those B vitamins. Nutritional yeast,
Okay.
good source. Okay, legumes. And then I would say protein, because protein gives you the amino acids for the neurotransmitters. So
Mm-hmm.
these are the building blocks.
Mm.
Proteins are made of amino acids, right?
Right.
And so they are very important to build these neurotransmitters that we are talking about, that are important for your brain health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like for instance, the amino acid tryptophan
Mm-hmm.
will help in the production of serotonin.
Okay.
The amino acid tyrosine will help in the production of dopamine,
Okay.
right? So we talked about those
Mm-hmm.
neurotransmitters.
Mm-hmm.
So protein is very important. So your mood chemistry know that it depends on your nutrient consistency and your
Mhm.
nutrient availability. So if you're
Mm.
having consuming good nutrients,
Mhm.
it will stabilize mood. It will stabilize mental health.
Okay. Good. Good. Very good information. What about something like blood sugar, right? And the imbalance of blood sugar. Does that contribute to anxiety and irritability and mood swings?
Absolutely. It is the spike,
Mm-hmm.
right? The blood sugar spike and the drop.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. So as you consume foods that are not good for you, that are inflammatory, it will immediately raise your blood sugar. So your dopamine is going up now because instant spike, we like it.
Yeah, we
And then
feel
there is
good.
an instant drop where the dopamine is dropping,
I see.
right? So now mood is just fluctuating. So the
Mm.
mood is going to go up and down, right?
Mm-hmm.
With
Mm-hmm.
blood sugar spikes, with insulin resistance in your body,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the more stable your diet is, the more stable the energy, the less the spikes
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
drops,
Mm-hmm.
right? So very important that in your eating style, you should have fiber,
Mm-hmm.
you should have protein,
Okay.
you should have complex carbs, good fats. That's going to keep the energy stable.
Mm-hmm.
So, starting your day with an egg, an avocado, and a toast, right? See how the nutrients are stable here. There's no blood sugar spike going on,
Right.
as opposed to having your day started with a sugary cereal. Instantly, you're starting with a spike and down,
Mm.
right? Which a lot of kids, a lot of young,
Yeah, love to do.
and you don't have time, and you just grab a
Bar.
bar and you leave.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, blood sugar fluctuations will definitely impact your mood, and it all starts in the morning. And then from there, as your mood is impacted,
It's all downhill from there.
yeah, absolutely.
So, are these some of the things that you will talk about on your Facebook group and also in the one-on-one your sessions?
Absolutely. So we go, Facebook group will be, of course, the entire group is there, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. And as people participate and they
Mm-hmm.
talk about some of the things, then there will be more, back and forth and response, right? So I really love interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of things that some people think, but they don't raise a question, and somebody else, asks about it,
Yeah.
and so the group benefits from it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why joining a group is always beneficial, because there are things that you may not have thought of, or you may not ask, but somebody else has asked.
Okay.
In one-on-one, we go very specific to your things. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very, it's done in a very confidential way, um, an environment that I provide for
Mm-hmm.
people who speak about their, because I've been doing this for more than 10 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So there is, it's very important that the person who's speaking about what issues that they are going
Mm-hmm.
through, that there is an understanding there, right? And since I've been doing it for so long, I have heard any and every kind of situation that
Mm-hmm.
goes on with people. So once we nail it to that person, then it becomes like that impactful.
Mm.
So that's why, I cannot offer these sessions all the time, but there are a few times in a month
Mm-hmm.
where I do take out some time for that. And so we go literally one on one with that person's problems, and then how to deal with that and what's going on in their life.
I see.
So, yes, both, joining a group and connecting with me one on one will give them a lot of benefit.
A lot of
And
benefit
all
for
of
sure.
this is like, it's just a service.
Mm-hmm.
So up until I can provide that, take benefit of it from it.
All right. That's take advantage of it. And what's the name of the group again? Facebook group?
It is called as Beyond Weight Loss Root Cause Healing for Women.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's excellent. Um, how about we've heard this term about gut bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
So, what role does our gut bacteria play in mental health and emotional well-being?
Yeah, so gut bacteria are very important. They are the production house for a lot of these chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
And we said mental health is so biochemical. what chemicals are being produced in your body. So these gut bacteria are producing neurotransmitters that are going and talking to the brain. These gut bacteria are also producing some chemicals that then have an impact on your gut lining. Your gut lining is on the inside, it's like a skin, like a filter,
Mhm.
right? And what will go inside the blood, the gut lining manages that. And so these gut bacteria they produce things or chemicals that can impact that lining, that can disturb that lining, or that can repair that lining. You
Hmm.
see how important the role of gut bacteria is. And they produce all these chemicals that are constantly in talk with the brain, in communication with the brain, right?
Okay.
So gut bacteria are extremely important. Now, some foods that are going to make your gut bacteria strong,
Next
those
question.
foods are, yeah, those foods are called as prebiotic foods.
Okay.
Okay. So prebiotic will enhance your gut bacteria. They'll
Mhm.
make them stronger, make your good bacteria stronger. So what are those foods? Say, for instance, onion, garlic,
Mhm.
leek, asparagus,
Mhm.
artichokes,
Mhm.
right? Your oats, bananas. These are prebiotic foods.
Okay.
They will make your gut bacteria strong. Now,
Mm.
again, if there's a lot of damage in the system, we first want to make sure that these prebiotics actually do the job that they are assigned.
Mhm.
So, if there is gut dysfunction that's going on, first we have to heal that a little bit. We have to take care of a few things.
Mhm.
And that is like a very formal way that I teach gut health phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. In phase 1, you remove a certain foods and you kind of give some break to the system, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And you concentrate on healing the system. So some of these food, initially when people come to me, they can't take onion or garlic, or there are people who've come to me who tell me that I can just take 2 vegetables. It's like none of these vegetables work for me,
Mhm.
right? So we have to work from where the person is. And as we heal the system, they are able to accommodate many more foods,
Mhm.
right? So just know that you have to make your gut bacteria strong, and the way to do that is through your prebiotic foods, is one factor. The other is you take probiotics. So what is probiotic? These are the live organisms that you are inserting in your body,
Mhm.
right? So now they are going and becoming a part of your enteric system,
Okay.
your
Okay.
gut.
Okay.
So how can you get that? Fermented foods. So your kimchi and your sauerkraut and your
Mm.
yogurt and your kefir and your fermented vegetables, they're very good.
Mhm.
Okay. So, but again, you have to see where the person is, whether they can take these or
Mhm.
they cannot tolerate them.
Right.
Right. So then when I work with people one on one or in a group setting, then we go very specific to what's going on in their gut. But just know that probiotic foods are really good. And then there are foods that have polyphenols.
Mhm.
So those are your berries and your colorful
Mhm.
foods, right? Your green tea, all of that is
Very
very,
good.
your beet, for example,
Mm.
some of these things, your green leafy, your olive oil,
Mhm.
those are polyphenolic foods, so they are also really good for your gut bacteria.
I see. Very good. How about dietary patterns? Are there any such patterns that can best support our mental health and reduce the risk of depression?
Yes. So, first of all, I would say consistency is the key. Consistent nourishment creates emotional regulation. So,
Okay.
consistency is first. Now, one dietary pattern that has been studied really well and has shown the impact on mental emotional health is Mediterranean style of eating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what we do in the Mediterranean style of eating, they include vegetables,
Mm-hmm.
fruits, whole foods, right? So not like processed flours, right? Whole foods, legumes is a big concentration there, and you get your protein from that too. And then your olive oil and nuts and fish. Again, you get your good fats from fish and your protein from fish. So that style of eating has shown in many, many studies over a long period of time that it impacts it lowers inflammation in the body.
Mhm.
It lowers the tendency for depression in the body. It improves your cognition, your mental function, your focus. So Mediterranean style of eating, I would say, which is like eating
Mm.
whole foods for a whole human,
I
is
like that.
important. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then and we see it all around us. Is this so many Mediterranean restaurants which have popped up,
Hmm.
and it's also very easy to make it at home.
Yes,
So I think maybe in your group, if you can share some recipes, or other people can share recipes, this would be very, very useful.
absolutely. We plan to do that. Yeah.
Good, good. How about caffeine?
Yeah.
Can that lead to or worsen our anxiety and depression and nervous system balance as well?
Yeah. What caffeine does, it amplifies whatever your nervous system is already feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So, say if you are feeling anxious, it will amplify. It is a stimulant. So,
Okay.
what stimulant does? It stimulates your nervous system,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, it will definitely, people who are sensitive to caffeine, they generally see that they feel more jittery. Their thoughts are racing if they take a lot of caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
Their sleep gets disrupted. They produce more stress hormones, right? So of course moderation is the key. It's very important that if you are consuming caffeine, that consume it in moderation. If you're sensitive to it, reduce it. Definitely pair it with foods so
Mm-hmm.
that you're not just taking caffeine, but
Mm-hmm.
it is a stimulant, and it will amplify whatever the effect your nervous system is feeling.
So instead of caffeine, if we want to take foods which will sort of have a calming effect on
Yeah.
us, what would you recommend?
So the calming effects that come from foods are definitely, I would say, hands down, first is magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
Magnesium is very calming.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you take magnesium at night, very good. Your dark chocolate has magnesium, like I said, almonds,
Cashews.
pumpkin seeds. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So those have magnesium. So magnesium rich foods are good. Then tryptophan.
Mm-hmm.
Will also calm your system down.
Okay.
So your turkey and your eggs and your lentils, they have a calming effect on body.
Okay.
All right. Then your complex carbs, they also calm the system down. So your quinoa and oats and sweet potatoes, those will have calming effect on the body.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, omega-3 foods. So
Mm-hmm.
your salmon and sardines and flax seeds and chia seeds, those are good. And then I would say hydration.
Mm-hmm.
Hydration is very important to calm your system down, because
Okay.
if you are even a little bit dehydrated, it can impact your mood, your focus. So go with some of these initial phases. Go start with magnesium rich foods, tryptophan, complex carbs. Not refined carbs, complex carbs, right? So they will calm the system. They will stabilize the system. Omega-3, water, hydration, all of this will have a calming effect on the body.
All right, so good to know. You often talk about lifestyle changes. So we've talked about nutrition, and we've talked about, all these
Hydration.
hydration and all this that we need. How about sleep?
Hmm.
I know you're a big proponent of
Yeah.
sleeping on time and
Because I was a chronic
consistently.
non-sleeper, and when I changed that, my life changed. Like
Okay.
it's a very big effect that you can see really really clearly if
Mhm.
you change there,
Okay.
right? So well, I would say sleep is your emotional reset. If you want
Mm.
to reset yourself emotionally and mentally, go to sleep. We underestimate
Okay.
the importance of sleep, but sleep will be highly impactful, because what happens during sleep, understand that your brain is going through detoxification. So all the toxicity that got together during the day,
Mhm.
on a regular basis, it detoxifies it. So increase the time for that detoxification. Why
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
sleeping for 2, 3, or 4 hours, or not sleeping, or
Mm.
completely skipping the sleep, you are adding toxicity in your body,
Okay.
right? And that will add inflammation, and that will start everything from weight
Mm.
gain to chronic conditions to everything, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So sleep will help you detoxify. especially in your brain. It will reduce stress hormones. It will also reset your emotional centers in your brain, right? Your memory
Mm.
will get severely impacted. If you're not sleeping, you will see over time your memory will go down.
Yeah.
So, memory centers are highly impacted by sleep.
Mhm.
So, I would say sleep is very important. Now, poor sleep is associated with anxiety, with brain fog, with cravings, with emotional dysregulation,
Mhm.
right? Irritability. You feel, you
You
just don't
don't,
feel,
yeah, you wake
you're
up
not
grumpy.
yourself. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now some basics with respect to sleep hygiene.
Mhm.
First of all, try to have a consistent schedule.
Mhm.
Okay? If you have a consistent schedule, this is the time I sleep, this is the time I wake up.
Wake up. Yeah.
That will help significantly. All right? At night, try to avoid TV or blue light or, all social media at
Mhm.
night
Mhm.
before you go to bed. That will help significantly. Early morning sun. So now, if say, even I tell my clients, if you're sleeping late, the morning wake up time does not change. So you have to get, because see, if you don't wake up on time, then that is disturbing your melatonin
Yeah.
cycle,
Yeah.
right? So now that will have an impact again
Mhm.
in the evening, and then that will have an impact in the morning. So first, having a consistent sleep schedule, but then morning sun is absolutely important. It's a game changer.
Mhm.
Okay, so see if you can work there.
Okay.
And then having a good sleep routine at night where you calm your system, when you attend to yourself, as opposed to going outside and going through social media. Or you can have like a nice, if you want to have a nice funny TV show which is
Mhm.
light, that's
Mhm.
fine. But going into this, you know
Yeah,
um,
spiral of
spiral
news
of
and
social media and all
mm.
that. So having like a good sleep routine which you look forward to, and where you are pouring into yourself at night, if you pour into yourself, and first thing in the morning if you pour into yourself,
Mhm.
you are set. You're pretty much set in the lifestyle. You will see that that has an impact. But again, like I say, consistency is the key.
Yeah.
So sleep is foundational.
Mhm.
That is the last thing that you want to compromise on,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
would
we
say.
did a whole segment on sleep hygiene just in the first hour, actually. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Amazing.
yes,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
going to go back and listen to it. Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So, anything else that you'd like to add? This was very eye opening and very, very important.
Yeah, I think exercise is also very important because, like I say, sleep is foundational, exercise is medicine to your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, movement is very important. It will, when you will move, it will give you a lot of endorphins. That is also very good for your mental health,
Mm-hmm.
right? It will stabilize your blood sugar,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to stop your inflammation. So, very important. Pay attention to that as well. But overall, what I'll say is, your mental health is not separate from your physical health. It
Mm.
is not separate from your lifestyle. It
Yeah.
is not separate from your nutrition.
Yeah,
It is a
and
part and parcel of it. So, just small changes can, if you make small changes, it can give you big results. You don't
mm,
have to change major stone, big stones, like small changes, but consistency is the key, because healing comes from consistency.
right.
So just remember that a healthy body will help you support a peaceful mind, right? And the peaceful mind will allow you to live with clarity, purpose, and joy.
Amazing. And thank you for helping us in our journey. And there are many, many women who are struggling with this issue. And I'm so glad that you're opening up avenues so that they can get the help that they so desperately need. And a lot of times, we don't even know we need that help. We know something is wrong and we are struggling, and these yo-yo diets, and we're like a spiral. And I think when you set us on that path, it just, I mean, just so many, so we get a lot of clarity in the whole
Mm-hmm.
thing. So my recommendation for women is, if you are spiraling and you know you need to do something, you even know the knowledge is all out there, but you're just not able to do it, then please get in touch with Nilofer. And you can connect with her on her Insta handle, Dr. Basaria, and her Facebook group,
Beyond Weight Loss, Root Cause Healing for Women.
Beyond Weight Loss, Root Cause Healing for Women. And she is offering 5 free sessions right now. So take advantage of it. It's for a very, very limited time, especially for our Radio Azad listeners. And you can always get in touch with me, 817-897-2217, and I can put you in touch with her. Nilofer, thank you so very much.
Absolutely, Aisha. It's always such a pleasure and such a joy to come here, talk to you, and your positive spirit and what you are spreading through radio. It's just amazing. So it just energizes me even more. Thank you for providing this platform.